Good time of day, guys! My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry, Ch.3 Tatarigoroshi. Last episode, Keiichi and Satoko's plan worked perfectly to win that baseball game, and they ended up having a barbecue party to celebrate their win. And Irie is interesting, to say the least. He's a card, I guess. Anyways, we're gonna just straight up jump into talking about the new episode of the anime because there's some stuff to talk about there. So, spoilers starting now. When I press the menu button, then you can come back. So mute if you don't want spoilers. If you don't mute, then forever suffer from the actions of your from the consequences of your actions. Let's go. So, I was right, next arc is called Tatarigoroshi, so awesome. I need to try and get through this as fast as fucking possible then now, woohoo. I've missed like 3 episodes so far, so that's awesome. Anyways, that's kind of besides the point. How about that frickin' end of Wata Damashi, right? Not at all like how I expected it to be, frankly. Not at all, like how I expected it to be. There's some weird shit going on with this episode. A lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. I think it's probably fair to say that the person who had Hinamizawa syndrome was Mion. I don't think anyone else had it. I don't think Shion did. Maybe she did, but to a lesser extent. If they both did, then Mion won against Shion incredibly early on. I feel like that would have to be the case. And then otherwise, just Mion with Hinamizawa syndrome killed Kimiyoshi, Oreo, and Shion and Rika, potentially also Satoko. What I think is really weird about this arc is Satoko, though. Like, at the beginning of the episode, Satoko was being major suspect. Like, holy fucking shit. I thought that they were just gonna literally just be like, yeah, Satoko's fucking insane too, just like Rika, haha, Burn Castle Lambda Delta shit, you know? That's what I thought they were gonna do, because Satoko was being, like, deathly serious, but I don't know. Maybe Satoko killed Rika and threw her in the septic tank. It's either Mion or Satoko that did that. I feel like with Oreo and Kimiyoshi and Shion, that's all Mion, without a doubt. But then, the death with Mion's death and Satoko's death, and Mion locking Keiichi in the cage, I feel like I don't really have any answers for any of this. I feel like the only thing that makes sense is Tomitake and Takano are just sort of gone somewhere disconnected from the actual incident that happened with Mion having Hinamizawa syndrome. Mion kidnapped and killed Kimiyoshi. Killed Oreo for some reason. I still don't know why Oreo has to die so often, but still. At some point, she also captured and killed Shion. And then at school the next day, either Satoko or Mion killed Rika and threw her in the septic tank. Potentially Rika could have killed herself, but I sort of doubt it. We don't really know exactly how she died. Like, we kind of got a glimpse of her body, but that could also just be Keiichi's imagination. Who knows? Either way, she was killed and disposed of in the septic tank of the school. I think it's easy to assume, though, that it was Mion who killed her, since she was talking about the 3 families and stuff like that, and she's just like, I need to end this all by myself. And then she talks about them sending their minion, which I'm assuming would have to be Satoko, but it doesn't necessarily have to 100% be Satoko, I guess. Because it's like Satoko and Mion were found dead right next to each other, in a similar thing to what happened to Satoko and Rika in Onidamashi. So, how exactly did those two kill each other? Mion walked out of the room with a gun, so that's something. I think it's probably fair to say that Mion is less familiar, while still being more familiar with the torture chamber than Shion. Because that whole secret uncle's chamber or whatever, I don't think that was a place that Shion ever utilized in Watanagashi or eventually Miyakashi. Yeah, I don't think she did. Or at least I don't remember this room, because it has computers in it too, which is something. It's got fucking security cameras and stuff like that. So, yeah, but the reason why I say Mion's kind of less familiar with it is because of the fact that she locked Keiichi in that cage, and Keiichi was still able to get out of the cage, but he wasn't able to get out of the room. He wasn't able to get through that door. He just ran into it until he knocked himself unconscious. So that's awesome. Yeah. I think it's fair to say, though, at this point, that there's a high chance that Satoko is the quote-unquote second culprit. I don't know how Mion ended up getting Hinamizawa syndrome in this case, but she clearly wasn't mad at Keiichi. I don't think she wanted to kill Keiichi. I think it is basically just a mirrored version of what Shion did. Because Shion was madly in love with Satoshi, while Mion seems to be semi-madly in love with Keiichi. Like, she's clearly in love with Keiichi, but only semi-madness for him. Full madness for killing other people, to dissolve the system of the village and Watanagashi and crap like that. It's weird, but that's besides the point. As for the latter scene, that's very reminiscent of Shion. So it is technically possible that Shion still killed Kimiyoshi and Oreo and Rika, and then Mion killed Shion in retaliation? But that would have to be something that happened off-screen. There's a couple possibilities to this chapter, or to this arc, but I don't really know what to make of any of it. I'm starting to think less that Keiichi is Lambda's piece. Like, he still says things as you could easily skew to be like, he's in the time loop, he knows what's going on. But at the same time, it's just weird seeing his behavior, getting so agitated about stuff. Unless he's putting on an act. Which is possible, but unlikely. So, yeah, I think it's easier to believe that Satoko is the new culprit, as opposed to Keiichi. So, yeah. And then there's Rena, who's just kinda not present in this arc. Like, she's there. She doesn't do a single fucking thing. At all. So that's great. Yeah, unlike with Onidamashi, I don't really know what caused this one to change so much. Like, seriously. There's no way that, Keiichi giving Mion the doll results in, instead of Shion getting Hinamizawa syndrome and killing most of the village at a slower pace, or I say most of the village, most of the main characters at a slow pace, that Mion getting the doll results in Mion getting Hinamizawa syndrome and killing most of the main cast faster than Shion does. It doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah. I like how this arc didn't end with Keiichi fucking dying, though. Because, like, Oni Kikuchi, he scratches out his neck and dies. Watanagashi, he potentially dies from delusions in his head at the hospital of Mion stabbing him to death when it's actually Shion who killed everyone. I don't know how this one ends, but I'm pretty sure Keiichi doesn't survive. I'm pretty sure Keiichi doesn't survive most arcs, but he survived in Watadamashi. So that's something. Yeah, I don't frickin' know. I don't really have much more to say about it, so... Yeah, in fact, I got, like, nothing to say about it. Really, just my conclusion is, there's too many possibilities. It could be that Shion killed Kimiyoshi, Oreo, and Rika. Mion kills Shion, and then Mion and Satoko kill each other. And that's one possibility. Second possibility is Mion kills Kimiyoshi, Oreo, Shion and Rika, and then kills Satoko at the same time Satoko kills her. And the last possibility, well, there's technically 4, I guess. The third possibility is Shion kills Kimiyoshi, Oreo, Kimiyoshi and Oreo. Mion kills Shion, and then Satoko kills Rika. Mion and Satoko kill each other. The fourth possibility is Mion kills Kimiyoshi, Oreo, and Shion. Satoko kills Rika, and then Mion and Satoko kill each other. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say, though, that the only kill that, well, there's 3 kills that we 100% know the killers for. Mion killed Shion, Mion killed Satoko, and Satoko killed Mion. I think that's fair to say. It could be that Mion killed herself, I guess. So I think it's probably then only fair to say that Mion killed Shion and Satoko. Those are really the only things we know. Kimiyoshi and Oreo could have been killed by Mion or Shion. Rika could have been killed by Mion or Satoko. I think it's hard to believe that Shion killed Satoko. I mean, Rika. I'm losing myself here. You know what I'm trying to say. Shion's death and Satoko's death are the only ones where we really, probably 100% truly know who the killers are. So then Kimiyoshi, Oreo, Kimiyoshi, Oreo, Rika, and Mion are the ones where we don't necessarily 100% know. As far as we know, Rena's still alive, Keiichi is alive, Oishi is alive, Tomitake and Takano are unknown. There. That's really all there is to say, so, yeah. Welcome back, let's continue the game. Alright, club activities had begun, which meant I needed to clear my mind. What was today's battle? Today's punishment game? I'd take anything on! Okay, Keiichi-san, you should prepare yourself. We're going all out today! Great, bring it on! Satoko or not, I'll crush you all mercilessly!
Rena will profit from your battle and fish herself up a win! Then I'll get all the manta rays first and ride them to victory. Rika-chan is flat like a manta ray!
Okay.
I want to take you home!
Okay, everyone. We have a lot of people today, so let's play something easy and simple. Today's game is... Motherfucker! I was 3 lines away from the end of the chapter. Fucking really? Oh my god, I hate myself so fucking much. Whatever, doesn't matter. Truly doesn't. Everyone who lost the game dropped out and had to help clean up after the barbecue. Oh, we're skipping the game, okay. Shion laughed more uproariously than anyone I'd ever heard when she saw my loser face. Okay, was my getting bombed out of the game really that funny? Man, oh man, Kei-chan's face. He was like, how can you still call yourselves human? Damn it. I had it all worked out when I bought up the scissors. If only Satoko and Rika-chan hadn't betrayed me. It was going great while we had maintained a united front. But Satoko had been quicker to betray me than I her. She was just a tiny bit better than me. Ugh! I warned you about trusting Hojo! Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were unanimously wearing I told you so faces. Incidentally, those 2 were victims of Satoko's traps pretty early on as well. Damn! I was trying to do well enough to make up for you 2. And once again, for the showdown, it didn't matter. Maybe this meant I still couldn't match up to the other members yet.
You were going to have the lowest ranked member of the club play a punishment game, weren't you?
Shion remarked, as though forcing me to recall something I'd tried to forget, even for a moment. Is that right? Come to think of it, Mayabara-san, when you came up with the punishment game with the president, you looked really heated up. What on earth did you decide on?
Earlier, Mion told me to get an Angel Mort uniform ready. Does that have anything to do with it? She told me to get the biggest size I could find.
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were giving me these complex, indescribable looks mixing empathy, pity, and the desire to see something scary all at once. All I could do now was laugh. Strangely enough, the more I laughed, the more I felt like it was actually funny. I lost! Oh, well, fuck. Oh my. Mayabara-san, what's the matter? You're smiling, crying, and hallowing. Hallowing, that's what I meant to say, yep.
It's okay. He's just pretending not to like it. He can't hide his excitement at the opportunity to gain valuable experience using the punishment game as an excuse. Right?
What do you mean, valuable experience? I held my head in my hands in agony. My state of mind could be summed up with a 3-letter word. It was... sob. Coach gently put his hands on my shoulders. Was he comforting me? Mayabara-san, in times where you must accept your gay side, just imagine you're a maid on the receiving end of some strict disciplining. See, doesn't the hopeless situation seem kind of fun now? Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Red in the face and indulging in his imagination, still holding my shoulders, Coach said, "Oh, master," and started twirling around like a ballerina. I had to wonder what kind of word associations he had going on in his head. At the very least, it was much different than what was in mine. The first thing that comes in mind when I think of disciplining certainly isn't maids. Tomita-kun? Okamura-kun? Your coach is pretty funny. I'm surprised he can even be a coach. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun exchanged glances and answered with dry smiles. Then they added that he was a really nice person most of the time, which is something you normally say about a person like that. The coach's questionable revolution slowed to a stop, and then his expression returned to a clear, calm one, almost making what just happened seem like an illusion. He can switch gears way too fast. Then let us start cleaning up. Mayabara-san, you seem quite strong. Could you bring the plates over to the wash basins and clean them? Right, on it! I hoisted the dirty barbecue plates, each with slimy oil clinging to it, and looked for the wash basins. No, these are heavy! Where are the wash basins? Over there? Figuring I should make it there before my arms gave out, I headed towards it at a trot. A lot of the adults who had been helping out were using the wash basins, so I gave up and looked for a different set. I asked them, and they told me there were more right by the assembly hall, too, so I decided to head that way. Rather than multiple basins, there was just one faucet there. I initially thought it would be too small to wash plates as big as these, but it would probably still be faster than waiting for a faucet to open up back there. I turned the faucet in water much nicer looking than it gushed forth. What? Oh, I turned the faucet and water much nicer looking than it gushed forth. Got it. I put a plate under the faucet and scrubbed it with my hand to try and rub it clean. Didn't go very well.
Here you go. A sponge and dish soap. You can't wash them with just water.
It was Shion. She threw a brand new sponge in a container filled with cleaner to me. No, thanks.
You should have just put them by the basins and left it to the grown-ups. You're always doing the right thing.
I got the feeling that wasn't quite a compliment. I answered her with a forced smile. I was surprised to learn you're the manager of the Hinamizawa fighters. I thought you didn't do stuff like that because it's too much of a bother.
Yes, it is quite a bother. That's why I've stopped showing up entirely.
Didn't Coach say he wanted you to come back? You should pay a visit once in a while.
If I feel like it, I guess.
Shion made it sound like the end of the world could happen before she felt like it. Whoops. I couldn't keep washing the dishes while preoccupied with conversation, so I decided to take my task seriously. Shion neither offered to help nor got in my way. She just quietly watched the water flowing from the faucet.
Oh, right, I heard something. You were the star player in yesterday's game, weren't you?
Satsuko hit the home run, so I think she was the real star player. I didn't know she had those kinds of reflexes. It surprised me.
She's totally different from Satoshi-kun. There's not much doubt that all the athletic ability in the family went to her.
Shion smiled as she spoke, her eyes looking at something far away, betraying her reminiscence. Satoshi-kun?
Satoko Hojo's older brother. You know, Satoshi Hojo-kun? Oh, right. You just moved here this year, didn't you, Kei-chan? You wouldn't have ever met him.
I was a little surprised that Shion knew about Satoshi. Never met him, but I know a little. And after their parents passed away, he transferred to a different school, right? I avoided saying that he ran away from home, and used the slightly more vague words that everyone else did.
Transferred? Who said anything like that?
Okay. I hadn't yet realized that Shion's tone had changed slightly. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! What? We're already in fucking Creepy Town? Seriously? Well, I mean, who was it then? Yeah, I heard it from someone. That he transferred.
Who? You said that because you asked someone, right?
Who did I ask? I don't really remember. Even so, he transferred. So that's it, right? Not like there's a problem with it.
There is one. Does that mean there's a record of his transfer to another school, and that someone saw it, or heard about it?
Around that time, I not only noticed how awfully caught up on this Shion was. Why is she going fucking mad? Does she do this chapter? I don't remember this. But also how startlingly dangerous her eyes had begun to look. Uh-oh. Shion? What's up? You look really serious. With that, Shion seemed to realize the expression she was making. She took a deep breath, pretended to fix her hair, and went back to her composed expression from before.
I'm sorry, but Kei-chan, you don't know much about Satoshi-kun, so please don't say that he transferred or anything like that. I'm serious. Please?
I realized I must have said something I shouldn't have, but I wasn't immediately sure of what I should apologize for, so I just said one safe word for now. Sorry. I just sort of heard he transferred and believed it. Was it actually something else? It was, of course. Preceded by his parents, he had left his sister and run away. But I'd wanted to try and avoid using the words run away, so I pretended not to know. Upon seeing my flustered reply, Shion realized she was intimidating me, and lowered her voice.
I'm sorry. I'm not blaming you for anything, Kei-chan. I was being a little harsh. I apologize.
I didn't really mind. That was a fib. I was actually a little scared even. Was there something wrong with saying he ran away? Was there some sort of misunderstanding in saying that he transferred? But before I could ask her, she turned on her heel to leave. Hey, Shion.
Right, good luck with those. Looks like your plate is last. That's the last one you need to wash.
Her final remark reminded me of the dishes I had so easily forgotten about. So immersed in conversation were we that it got pretty late. I turned the faucet again to get the water flowing faster. Whoosh! I violently scrubbed the plate. When I turned back around, Shion was no longer there. By the time I'd finished washing the plates, most of the other things had been cleaned up. The air had cooled off before I'd realized it, and as the heat that had stuck with us all day dispersed, a nice breeze started to blow. What the fuck? I didn't think they'd already go to Creepy Town. This is episode 5, right? Christ. Okay. Hi, Uri.
Okay, everyone, can I have your attention?
Coach got everyone together to make his closing remarks. And with that, another fun day drew to its close. In the end, Mion ended the game with a magnificent victory. Satoko and Rika-chan, who had labored so hard to betray me, had fallen into a huge trap afterwards, leaving them frustrated about more than a few things. People who betray others will one day be betrayed themselves. Never been more true, huh?
Nyah! You're not the one I want to hear that from, Keiichi-san! Rena didn't fall for anyone's tricks. That's how I got second! Second! Rena doesn't buy into lies very easily.
No kidding.
She has a sharp wit.
I'm surprised. She seems like she would fall for the first lie to come her way. Funny you should say that, Kei-chan. You desired to prey upon others, and right away you became the prey instead. Make sure you don't fall for those dumb schemes that promise higher returns the more friends you rope in, okay? Yeah, I'll try harder. Even good friends will lay traps mercilessly and betray everyone in sight once they get into a serious enough game. But despite that, once it's all over, they can feel refreshed and laugh together. It reminded me of how we were all such great friends.
Anyways, I'm looking forward to Keiichi-san's punishment game. However, can you really implement such a thing? I would think the store manager would have a thing or two to say about it, no? I wonder. Maybe Keiichi-kun will be really cute.
I didn't mean to write quick.
Cute? I kinda wanna see. Huh? I'm on the edge of my seat. I will trip him up and make him wipe the floor.
Ah, that would be great. Coo. Why couldn't I win now of all times? Whenever I think I'll definitely win today, and that I'll make someone else play the punishment game, I lose! Is it not enough? Do I not believe hard enough in victory?
The wailing of the loser tastes like sweet honey. How sad, how sad. Pat. This is how you get stronger, Keiichi-kun. It's like I'm looking at Michan from last year.
Michan last year? What, did she always lose and moan about it in the past? How very interesting. I didn't know our undefeated president, Mion, was once like that. No need to talk about that! Mion hastily covered Rena's mouth. Everyone watching burst out laughing. Finally, Rika-chan pulled on Satogo's sleeve.
Okay, we should be going soon. Oh, yes, we must go shopping for dinner, mustn't we?
I wanted to keep talking like this forever, but it was getting late. We split up with Satogo and Rika-chan and decided to get on our way home. Alright, bye! See you tomorrow at school! Everyone waved to each other and split up for the short time between now and tomorrow.
Okay, let's go!
We began walking down the tall staircase leading from the shrine grounds. As the sun started to set, the afternoon's heat began to disappear as though it were never there. Just listening to the chorus of the Higurashi was enough to make me forget about how hot it had been today. Come to think of it, it's still June, huh? We didn't have a rainy season at all this year. Like, all of a sudden, it's just summer, you know? Now I thought about it, she was right. It was June, the season of long rain, of hydrangeas and snails. I haven't seen a real rainy season since transferring here. According to the weather forecast, it's supposed to get more rainy during the first part of the week. They were warning people about heavy showers. I hope it doesn't run into Watanagashi.
That's right. The rainy season's supposed to be rainy. Rena likes all the rain in the rainy season.
Okay. What? So much rain just makes me depressed. And hey, Kei-chan. Huh? Ugh! I was a little spaced out, so I was late in answering Mion. I was thinking back to my conversation with her sister. Yeah, I just kind of realized this arc's doing Creepy Town shit before the festival. Weird. Okay. When I said that Satoshi transferred, Shion clearly got angry. She was mad at me for saying something so careless. I mean, it may have been a vague way of skirting around the fact that he ran away from home, but I don't think it was so bad that Shion would need to feel mad about it. I wasn't really satisfied with it. I felt like a child, completely ignorant of what he was being scolded for. So my thoughts spilled out of my mouth in a very direct fashion. Satogo had a brother, right? Named Satoshi, I think?
What?
As soon as I said the name Satoshi, Rena and Mion both lost their relaxed, comfortable mood and made strange expressions. Should I have avoided talking about this? That's what they made me think. But I've already said it, so that's that. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested. What happened to Satoshi again? Did he move away? That was such a transparent way of putting it, but in my desire to know everything, I feigned ignorance. Mion turned around and looked to Rena for assistance. Rena looked between us, then quietly and softly spoke.
Wait, did we not tell you? He transferred out.
When I said those words to Shion, she got upset, so I answered her with the same words Shion had given me. Transferred? Who told you something like that?
Huh?
I had only intended to borrow Shion's words, but I said it exactly the same way she had, right down to the thorns in my voice. Then I'll repeat the line. Transferred? Who told you something like that? Is that better? When I realized what I had done, I immediately tried to soften my remark. If he really transferred, there'd be records of it at school and stuff, right? But is there actually anything like that? Mion and Rena, their eyes grew wide. They were at a loss for words. I started to feel like I was doing something really bad. I thought they were only hiding the fact that Satoko's older brother ran away out of consideration for her. I'm not trying to blame you for anything, okay? I just wanted to ask what happened to Satoshi. That's all. I wasn't trying to blame them. The fact that I had to remind them even looked like I was tormenting them with an impossible question. No, maybe I was actually bullying them. Maybe I had lashed out of them in retaliation for Shion getting mad at me. This whole day had been so much fun, but now, why did I go and say something that made all of that meaningless? I couldn't help but regret my own careless curiosity. That's enough, let's drop it now. As I was about to say that, Mion spoke up.
Well, it's not like we were hiding it, or lying. I hope you understand. That's not what we were trying to do.
Mion's tone conveyed her genuine awkwardness. They sounded like the excuses of a child who'd been presented with evidence of her own mischief.
Satoshi, well, he didn't transfer schools,
Mion said, resigning herself. But I felt bad for pushing her to say that. So, it's okay, Mion. Let's stop talking about Satoshi. Sorry for teasing you. I wanted to apologize, but right before that...
He won't come back.
What? Unlike Mion's stammered reply, Rena was extremely clear and resolute. Okay. He won't come back. What?
He won't come back home, ever since that day.
He won't come back. That was a very strange way of putting it. Normally you would say that he hadn't come back yet. At least, I thought you'd only say it like Rena did if he wasn't capable of coming back. You wouldn't say it like that when talking about someone who ran away from home. What do you mean he won't come back? Where did Satoshi go?
I don't know.
Rena's word choice felt very cold to me. It was so cold that I couldn't muster a response right away.
Well, she's right. After that day, Satoshi hasn't returned home.
Mion noticed the deadlock between us and hurriedly followed up on what Rena had said.
Well, that is, everyone in the village searched for him, and we even got the police to help us look. And well, they started thinking that maybe he ran away.
They started thinking he maybe ran away? When running away from home, I thought you were supposed to leave a note or something. So when Satoshi ran away, he would probably have left some kind of a letter apologizing to Satoko. That was just kind of what I figured. But from the way Mion was talking, it seemed a little different than just running away from home.
The police did an investigation. Satoshi had been earning money at a part-time job and had some put aside. And they learned that on the day he vanished, he withdrew it all. And then at Nagoya Station or something, they spotted someone who looked a lot like Satoshi.
He withdrew all his savings to fund his escape from home. Was that it? It seemed consistent enough to me, but before I could say anything...
I think that's a lie. Satoshi-kun didn't run away,
declared Rena shortly. Wait, this is formatted wrong. Hey, wait. So if he didn't transfer schools or move away, and he didn't run away from home, then what on earth? Stop it, Rena! Mion whispered to her. Rena, however, continued without interruption, and then she said this.
Because it was Oyashiro-sama's curse.
No. Okay, this makes sense then. I've been confused. I mean, I'm still confused about Shion, but now I kind of understand why Rena's acting like this, too. Huh? A curse? It took some time before I understood what Rena meant by that. Mion clicked her tongue and shook her head a little. Oh, okay, fuck. Well, I mean, I guess this still sort of makes sense? I don't know, dude. What the fuck's going on? I remember so little about, like, the actual events of this arc. We're gonna go into spoiler time for a second, then. Christ. Alright. Starting now. Mute. And I'll pull up the menu when I'm done. Oh my god. So, I thought that this arc was... Keiichi has Hinamizawa syndrome, so does Satoko. Keiichi at some point kills Satoko's uncle. That's all I remember. I did not remember Rena or Shion being fucking creep lords. Sure, talking about the curse like this is in character for Rena, because she's, you know, insane as far as Oyashiro goes, even when she doesn't have Hinamizawa syndrome, correct? But... I mean, I guess her having eyes, her having those eyes implies just Keiichi having Hinamizawa syndrome, which, yeah, he does to an extent in this arc. At least I think he does. I'm like 95% sure he does, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't remember jack shit about Rena or Shion being fucking weird, but whatever. Welcome back.
Satoshi talked to me before he disappeared. He said someone was watching him, stalking him. They even followed him home. He told me that when he went to bed, they were standing there at his bedside, looking down at him.
Stop it, Rena!
It's a portent of Oyashiro-sama's curse. There's no doubt. I think somewhere deep down, Satoshi-kun was probably thinking about abandoning Hinamizawa and running away. And Oyashiro-sama wouldn't allow that.
I said stop it!
Oyashiro-sama is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. He would never allow anyone to abandon Hinamizawa and run away. I apologized for it, but Satoshi-kun probably didn't.
Oh, hi! Christ.
It must have been! It must have been Oyashiro-sama's curse!
Oyashiro-sama's curse? I hadn't intended to repeat it, but the words came out of my mouth anyway. Oyashiro-sama's curse.
The police may have said he ran away, but I don't believe it! I won't believe it, not ever! It's just a lie told by the self-important people in the village who don't want to admit it was the curse! And whether or not you believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse, it's...
Wham. Mion struck Rena in the head. Okay, part of me remembers something like Mion hitting Rena. Didn't think it was this arc. I thought it was a later arc. But part of me remembers Mion whacking Rena on the head. And not in a joking way either. I told you to give it a rest, didn't I? I try to be nice, but you're pushing me to my limits. Pushing her to her limits. Actually, there was plenty of displeasure and anger in Mion's face at that moment. For a few moments after being hit, Rena looked astonished. Perhaps the voices of the Higurashi calmed her frantic mind, because after a little while, she regained her original calm expression. Okay. We arrived at the place we always split up with Mion. No one said a word until we got there. The voices of the Higurashi just tortured our ears with their buzzing. We'd always split up with Mion here, leaving just Rena and me. Hey, Kei-chan! Didn't I promise to lend you some manga? Wanna come over real quick? Huh? She promised that? However, I quickly realized it was a convenient way of saying she wanted to talk to me alone.
Oh, I see. Okay, then Rena will go home.
Maybe she realized it, maybe she didn't. Thankfully, Rena quickly said she'd go home before us. Bye, Rena. See you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Keiichi-kun, don't be too much of a bother now. It's already evening.
I'm just going to borrow a few bucks. See ya. Remember, considering the fun day we had, it was a very insipid, lonely parting.
Hey, don't worry too much about before.
After a little while, Mion finally spoke. Quite some time had passed since splitting up with Rena. No, I'm not, really. I think it was my fault anyway.
We weren't trying to hide anything about Satoshi. It's just one of those things that we shouldn't mention, you know?
At this point, I understood exactly what she meant by that. Judging by her odd interactions with Rena, I understood so well it hurt that I shouldn't ever talk about it again. Actually, if that's the case, then with Shion too. No, this is a bigger problem. Talking about it in the first place had been indiscreet. I shouldn't have been interested in it at all. But that's why I really had to think about it. About why everyone got so irritated. Idiot, stop this, Keiichi Mayabara! Wait, did I... Okay, no, I'm fine. By the time I tried to warn myself, I had accidentally spoken already. I won't ever ask again. So could you tell me honestly? What on earth happened to Satoshi? He ran away, right? For a long time, Mion remained silent, but finally, unable to endure it any longer, she began to speak timidly.
Have you heard about Oyashiro-sama's curse?
Just a little bit. I got the gist of it. I only overheard someone in class talking about it, though. Oyashiro-sama was the name of the deity protecting Hinamizawa, that they worship at the shrine we had the barbecue at today. And a few years ago, when they started talking about flooding Hinamizawa as part of the dam project, one of the people worked on site died or something. That's definitely not correct. And people blamed it on Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's how it was.
Satoshi's dead parents, they were proponents of the dam project.
Huh. Wasn't everyone in the village against it? Why would they support the project if they lived here? The dam project that would flood the entirety of Hinamizawa. I'd heard the village all got together to fight the terrible project, but it was a little hard to believe there were villagers who were supporting it.
Well, there was a lot of stuff going on, but not everyone agreed to stand up to the dam proposal. Satoshi's parents were basically the leaders of those who were all for it.
Leaders are the ones for it. Satoko and Satoshi's parents?
Yeah. The government had gathered a lot of compensation money to exchange for the construction of the dam. There were plenty of people who agreed with the proposal because they wanted the money.
Aside from a few households, Hinamizawa was, in general, not very affluent. And not because they were proud to inherit the land of their ancestors. It wouldn't be strange if some people wanted enough money to start a new life. But even in that case, they would have had to hesitate to say so, given the situation. It just happened to be Satoko and Satoshi's parents, who understood that and stood up to be their representative. By that standard, you might say that Satoko and Satoshi's parents were very heroic. They volunteered to be hated, all to help those without much money who didn't have a voice.
And then, their parents had bad luck. They died in an accident on the day of the festival honoring Oyashiro-sama. So people started to think that maybe it had been Oyashiro-sama's curse.
I thought back to what Coach told me today. They went to a nature park on a family outing and fell from a cliff. So, people thought even Satoshi running away from home was because of Oyashiro-sama's curse?
Well, yeah. Basically.
It was a bit of an evasive reply, but I felt it was wrong to ask any further, so I didn't press her for details.
I don't think I need to explain this, but for Satoko, her parents' accident and Satoshi running away, and all the business about Oyashiro-sama's curse, none of it's a very happy story, you know?
Yeah, of course I knew. I could only nod silently.
That's why we're not mentioning anything about Satoko's family. Even if someone asks about Satoshi, we just lie and say he transferred schools. You can understand why, right?
They wanted to protect Satoko's happiness, her smile. As someone who thought that way once, even for a short time, I really did regret having been imprudent enough to broach the topic to begin with. Yeah, I get it. I'm sorry I asked something so careless. When she heard that, Mion smiled, seeming a little relieved. With that understanding, thinking that I should get going, I began to make my way home. I could really have stopped by Mion's house, but it was already late. I'd stop by again the next time I had the chance. Bye then, Mion. Sorry about today. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Goodbye.
We waved to each other. Then, suddenly remembering something, Mion called out to me.
Kei-chan! One more thing. Not only around Satoko, could you keep quiet about Satoshi with Rena, too?
Huh?
I think you realized earlier, but for some reason, when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, she gets extremely serious. Ever since she transferred here.
Yeah, judging by how Rena was acting earlier, it was clearly no laughing matter to her. Mion had interrupted the conversation for us, but if Mion hadn't been here, what might have happened? Why would Rena be so serious about it? Not only Rena either, but Shion too.
I don't know. Rena is... Oh, this is a secret, okay? If you tell anyone, we're not friends anymore.
Mion emphasized this as her expression clouded even further. I won't tell. What's this about Rena?
She says she's been a victim of Oyashiro-sama's curse before.
Huh?
Well, it might sound mean, but I think it might be a bad case of a persecution complex, or some kind of wrong assumption. But she says so herself, so I believe her. If I poke fun at it, she gets pretty upset. Rena jokes around all the time, but she's really scary when she's mad.
I get it. Don't talk about it in front of Rena, right? About Satoshi.
Yeah. If possible, I think we shouldn't talk about this ever again. For her sake. And for Satoko's.
For everyone else's, too. And if I must say, for your own sake, too, Kei-chan. With her silence, Mion made sure I knew that. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Thanks.
Saying only that, she waved her hand and began walking away. I watched her go, a little dazed, and then started walking myself. Satoko's older brother, Satoshi. Had he run away from home, or had he been a victim of the curse and disappeared forever? Whichever the case, none of this was anything I should have asked about. The cooling air forced me into self-reflection. I wanted Satoko to smile, yet my curiosity easily defeated me, and I frivolously stepped into the dark side of things in a joking way. I'm shameful. I wanted today to be exactly like yesterday. I wanted tomorrow to be just as fun as today, too. So why did I go and do something like that? We were having a blast at the baseball game yesterday. And today we had a blast at the big barbecue party, too. It was a lot of fun. But then I went and almost nullified all those fun times. I would have to be more careful starting tomorrow. I would put all this unpleasant stuff behind me forever. Like how I'm gonna let my enjoyable life end because of how careless I was today. But the more I thought that I'd be more careful starting tomorrow, the more I couldn't get rid of the ominous thought that I had already put an end to those enjoyable days with what I'd just done. Hey, wait. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. The gears of destiny are freaking gigantic, aren't they? What happened just now is trivial. It doesn't make any sense to think my life will be totally different starting tomorrow. But even though I understood it logically, the mist in my heart wasn't going to fade, until tomorrow turned out to be just as fun as today. I'm acting weird. I'm thinking a little too much about that conversation. I wish tomorrow would come already. I wanted it to make me understand how absurd my insignificant doubts really were. The night was long. These chapters are pretty short. Which is fine, you know? Perfectly fine. Because it seems like we might be able to do another one after these steps. The Slacking Manager copy of the preliminary autopsy. Okay. Achievement unlocked, mystery meat. Okay. The Slacking Manager. Let's go.
Shion-san, why don't you help out a little? Are you asking a girl to carry something heavy? This is why you still haven't found a nice lady at your age, Coach. Well, you see, at times like these, here's what people say. It's none of your business. Ooh. And that's the end. He was loading the station wagon with heaps of equipment we'd use for today's barbecue meeting. All the fathers and sons who had helped were starting to get on their way. Alright, so, Shion-san, why did you come all the way here? If you rode here on your bike, I can give you a lift. I did, but I'll be fine riding back. I appreciate your consideration. I was glad you came today. Things don't quite fit together without the manager here. Am I still the manager? I've been shirking my duty for an entire year, so maybe you should just fire such an incompetent manager already. Alright, if you say you want to quit, then I'll fire you whenever you want. That's not fair. Let me go soon, please. Every time I don't show up at a game, I get an annoying phone call, and I can't stand those. If you were more honest with yourself, Shion-chan, you'd be far cuter. Your father is so sad. Where did he go so wrong as to deserve such a rebellious daughter? Oh, perhaps if your father catches you in a big, loving embrace, you'll open your eyes. Well then, don't mind if I do. Come here. Coach was fooling around with all his might, but Shion just smiled into the distance without responding. I just remembered, I was told in a comment last episode that the original anime makes Irie look less like just some guy who says weird things on purpose sometimes, and more like just kind of a real pedophile. Great. That's not fucked at all. I'm glad he's canonically not one then. At least I'm assuming. Nothing's changed. You're still a weirdo, Coach. And everyone's still as lively as ever. Even though Satoshi-kun isn't here. Is that what you wanted to say? He'll come home. I'm sure of it. He has someone waiting for him. Say whatever you want. He sure is cruel, isn't he? Going off to who knows where, leaving such a cute girlfriend behind. Huh? Girlfriend? Who? Who? Huh? Jeez! Quit laughing already, Coach! Coach bent over and laughed heartily for a little while. We'll see each other again. Please come and root for us once in a while, okay? If I feel like it. I have no desire to be the manager anymore after all. That's fine. If you don't like it, I'll fire you. I'm not the kind of person who likes forcing people to do things against their will. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. You win this round. If I feel like it, I'll come root for you. If I feel like I'll come root for you. So for today... If I feel like it, I'll come root for you. That's what it is. So for today, just be patient. Whoops, that time already. It's past time to return all this. I'm already making them wait for me. I'll be leaving for today then. Let's meet again at the next game. Yes, if I feel like it. Goodbye, Coach. Okay, so that tip was clearly to set up, the romance between Shion and Satoshi. Got it. Copy of the preliminary autopsy. Let's go! The autopsy suggests the victim was killed in the following manner. Wait, someone died? 1. Entire body bound in restraints. Traces left behind from when the body seemed to have been bound indicated using a specific restraining table rather than rope or another common method. Finger joints on either hand appear to have been bound especially tightly. Highly likely that the table is either specially made or homemade given this information. 2. Both ears and nose severed with a sharp blade. Oh, this is the body at the very, very beginning. Got it. Traces of the restraint and other things seem to suggest there was at least one more other than the one who severed these body parts holding down the victim's head. Possible that multiple blades were used, with one of them most likely being scissors or shears. 3. 5 nails penetrated fingers on each hand. 1 long nail stuck in each joint of each finger on each hand, for a total of 30. The deceased's fingers were nailed to wooden planks 20 square centimeters large. Extremely likely these planks were part of the restraining table. In addition, it is likely that the table was originally designed for just such a purpose. 4. Abdomen incised.
intestines removed. The incision in the abdomen is likely to have been a technique grounded in medical methodology using a sharp blade. Estimated that there was still no threat to the victim's life at this stage. After this, the organs inside the incision were dismantled and removed. The victim likely died as a result of this process. 5. Body disposed. After fastening a dumbbell to the victim's neck using a commercial pet collar, the victim was likely abandoned in the Oji River's third drain. Judging by the dumbbell's weight, it's highly possible that they would have needed at least 3 grown men to have disposed of the body. To Oishi-san, here's a copy of the preliminary autopsy of the slaughtered corpse in the Oji River. Chief Shigeharu sees this as having a possible relation to the S group. What are your thoughts, Oishi-san? Who even is the person who died there? Like, they had nails in their finger joints, so that's weird. East Round 3. Okay, Oishi, hello. I've decided to change Oishi's voice to kind of more match his voice from the anime, because I think it's more interesting, and a little easier to do than this voice, especially since that's the same voice Keiichi's dad has. So he talks a bit more like this, so we'll go with a deeper version of that, more like this, I think. And I think this would work pretty well. So, we'll go with this. There it is. Ron. 3 Chun, 3 Dora. Mangan with 1500 extra. What? What's up with that? How do you have 3 Dora? You idiot. You're the one who flipped over another Condora when you knew Oishi was in Tenpai. That's what you get. Getting more Dora was the only thing I could do after revealing the Chun. You can't discard a Dora tile after a Yakuhai is out. Oishi grinned meaningfully as his buddies, swearing, began breaking down the walls and reforming them. Komiyama, okay. By the way, Oishi-san, identified her yet? What? No, the mutilated body in the drainage channel. Any new leads come up? Yes, well, you'll have to find proof yourself, though. You're really something. Who was the deceased? Rena Mamiya. Ooh, Mamiya, okay. Actual name, Ritsuko. Apparently she worked for the Blue Mermaid, a hostess bar on Shishibone Flower Road. Aven. Not right now, bro. Phew, that's a nasty place. The young leader of the Sonozaki zone, is it, yeah? Sonozaki, whoops! So it's related to the S group. That mountain will be tough to scale. Rumors say the deceased had been dipping into the Sonozaki's protection money, and on a pretty significant scale too, from what I've heard. A woman getting her hands on the protection money. Sounds like a man's behind it. Not a lot of women do that sort of thing themselves. Well, he's dead anyway. The body just hasn't been found yet. About that, Oishi-san, her cohabitant's apparently alive. Alive? Then maybe he'll die soon. Vermin usually exterminate other vermin. I think we have a very nice self-cleansing system going on. Anyway, her man. It's, well, Teppei Hojo. Oh, okay. I guess that's Satoko's uncle? So this Mamiya chick is connected to Satoko's uncle, okay. Hojo? Who's that? Teppei Hojo, the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year in Hinamizawa. I heard he disappeared after the incident, though. I get it, he was staying at his lover's place, huh? And so the Sonozakis grow ever more suspicious. Where is he now? He was living in a woman's apartment. He must have thought she abandoned him, so he's been searching around shops and other gathering places. Okay, so that guy's on his way. All I remember about him is that he wears a pink Hawaiian shirt. Alright. Morning, Keiichi. My, what time did you go to sleep? I did not sleep well last night at all. My mother could tell from a single glance. I had the worst dreams. Nightmares. Very obvious, very ominous dreams. One after the other, again and again. I woke up after each one, but could never even remember a fraction of what they had been about. But it was like those dreams were predicting something unpleasant, and I woke up in a terrible mood. And hey now, every day has been calm and fun before today, right? Those days should continue on, unchanging. And yet, anxiety was the only emotion growing within me. Why was that? Nightmares reflect your own anxiety. They show an uneasy mind that which you wouldn't admit to normally. Yesterday, I remembered the ominous conversations about Satoshi I had with Shion, Mion, and Rena. Right. My mind felt like it was in a black fog because we had talked about that. If I'd lived every day without causing a fuss, my reward would be ever more peaceful days. I understood that, so why did I cause such discord? But now that I thought about it calmly, a simple verbal slip on my part couldn't possibly change the world. Yeah, as long as I'm sorry for doing it, never talk about it again, there's nothing that anyone can blame me for, right? Besides, how would my fate possibly change just because I talked about that? Nothing was going to change. Yeah, nothing would change. Nothing would change, nothing would change. That's a creepy smile. If you're still half asleep, then go wash your face. And finally cheered up enough to smile, and Mom slapped me right back down. Now I was irritated again. There wasn't much time left before I had to meet up with Rena. I frantically started to get ready to go to school. Have a good day. Watch out for cars. There's barely any cars to watch out for. In Hinamizawa, anyway. You say that, but I dashed out the front door. The morning air was far more refreshing than the water on my face. That's right, Keiichi Mayabara. If you're sorry enough about it and reflect upon your mistakes, that's enough. Now let's pull yourself together and get to school. And return to fun, enjoyable days. Where everyone laughs, plays, and just has a good time. I'll be nice to Satoko as an apology, too. Yeah. Wasn't I supposed to be her Nini until Satoshi got back?
Good morning, Keiichi-kun.
Rena, too, looked nothing like she had yesterday when she said that weird stuff. If I could only forget, then I could still act like nothing had happened. So I called out to her with all the energy I could muster. Hey! Morning, Rena! How are we as usual today? Okay. Good morning! Good morning! There was a little time before the same old morning homeroom began. But Satoko and Rika-chan were unusually absent. Maybe they went to play somewhere. However, looking over and seeing none of their things. So it looked like they really hadn't come to school.
They're almost never late.
Rena seemed to be enjoying herself, thinking about what their excuse for being late would be. Mion said something nonsensical as well, imagining how funny the reason they were late must have been. I had only come to school to see their energetic faces, since I figured it would get rid of these feelings I have. But the load on my chest remained where it was. It wasn't very pleasant at all. I think I kinda know what'll happen.
Good morning, everyone. President, if you would.
Everybody stand up. Our teacher finally arrived. Then finally I heard the pitter-patter of footsteps running down the hall. Oh, yep, I think I know what's going on. Clatter. Rika-chan was the first to run through the open door. And then Satoko didn't come.
You're late, Furude-san. Where's Hojo-san?
It was unusual for Rika-chan to be late, but equally unusual for Satoko, a ball of energy, to be absent at all. Everyone's eyes were wide at the series of strange events.
Satoko might be a little late. Has she come down with something?
The teacher walked over to Rika-chan and they started talking in hushed tones. Rika-chan is late and Satoko is absent. I guess crazy things can happen.
You're right. But I wonder what happened to Satoko-chan. Is she sick?
Why now, when I most wanted to see Satoko's energetic face? The unease that had been building since last night tightened within my chest. Okay, Chan, you worry too much. Sometimes girls of her age can't help but stay homesick. Coo.
Me-chan, you're not supposed to say that around boys.
Mion laughed indecently. Normally I would laugh along with her, but right now, I just didn't feel like it. Homeroom ended, and we went to talk with Rika-chan in the short time we had before first period started. Hey, Rika-chan, you look so sad. So very sad when getting yelled at for being late. I'll make sure to pet you today. I was very aware of my gloom this morning, so I strove to keep my tone cheerful. I petted Rika-chan, nice one, dude. American coming out. I petted Rika-chan's head the same way she always did, but she didn't cheer up at all. Meep. What happened to Satoko? Did she get sick? For instance, she got a fever from playing around too much yesterday. If that had been her response, I would have accepted it in a flash. But the atmosphere around Rika-chan felt somehow heavy. It was a little weird, and actually made my unease worse. Hey, come on! There's certain things she can't talk to boys about. Kei-chan, back to your seat! Mion, acting just like a club president, pulled me back to my chair. Rika-chan's gaze immediately fell back to her desk, and she hung her head gloomily. Rika-chan had said something odd, that Satoko might be a little bit late. They were living together, weren't they? Then she would have known for sure. She wouldn't have said might. I didn't understand why she was absent, and that made me all the more anxious. Damn it, what's going on today? It's like we started off on the wrong foot, and it wasn't going to get any better.
What's the matter, Keiichi-kun? You seem pretty down this morning.
Rena noticed how I looked and whispered to me while the teacher wasn't looking. Do I really seem that way?
Yeah. Even Rena's starting to feel down just looking at you.
I thought of jokingly saying, then don't look at me, but I didn't even feel like doing that.
Is it something you can tell Rena? I don't know what you're worried about, but if I can help, then you can tell me, okay?
I won't tease you. Rena said this, looking me straight in the eye. Until yesterday. Nothing strange had happened, and it was a lot of fun. Huh? Rena's eyes widened for a moment, not understanding what I meant, but she remained silent and listened. It was peaceful and fun. Every day was lively. I never had any doubt things would stay that way forever.
Yeah, you're right. Every day is fun. I'm sure today will be too.
You're sure? How do you know?
Well...
Rena, feeling perplexed, couldn't think of something to say. I didn't blame her. What I was trying to say seemed a little confusing, even to me. When I think about it, I've been anxious lately. Like, maybe, since every day is fun, one day, all of a sudden, it would get really dark, like a light bulb turned off.
Yeah, Rena kinda understands how you feel.
Rena nodded gently.
We've always been taught that it wouldn't be only good things happening to us. Sometimes I'm scared of what's going on behind the fun. It's a little bit sad, but because of that, we learn how to do our best to make sure that the fun never stops.
I see.
So it's not a bad thing that you think our fun lives might not go on forever, Keiichi-kun. Kind of like, like if suddenly there was a volcanic eruption tomorrow and everyone died.
Hey, wait, that's terrible!
If you were the only one who survived the catastrophe, Keiichi-kun, how would you feel?
How would I... I imagined myself being that sole survivor in the ruins of Hinamizawa. Rubble and the bodies of friends lying in heaps at my feet. This feels like foreshadowing. And part of me thinks it actually literally is. It was such an abhorrent sight. Was it sadder that all my friends had died? Or was it sadder that I couldn't have died with them? I didn't know which, but I'd probably cry a lot. It'd probably break my heart. First, I think I'd cry.
And then maybe you would think this. If this was my destiny, then I should have made sure every day before this was as fun as possible so I had no regrets.
I didn't want to consider such a horrible event to be my destiny, but... I probably would think that.
The fun times will end one day, and nobody knows when they will. It makes sense to live each day to the fullest so that if it does happen tomorrow, you don't regret anything.
Yeah.
It's really hard to think like that. A lot of people take their everyday happiness for granted. They think tomorrow will be the same as today, So they leave things they could do today for tomorrow. They leave the kindness they could have shown today until tomorrow.
Rena was usually cheerful and silly, but right now she wasn't like that at all. She was taking my trouble seriously. It was a little reassuring.
But Keiichi-kun, you realized it. I think that's a wonderful thing. So that unease you have, I think you should keep it close to your heart.
Keep my unease close?
Yes. Everyone might die tomorrow in a big catastrophe, so you should be really nice to everyone today. So when the end really does come, you don't regret it.
Do you do that, Rena? Like, live like you would have no regrets if everyone died tomorrow?
Yep.
It was such a hyperbolic conversation, but Rena just gave me a nonchalant nod of her head.
Rena knows what it's like for the fun times to end overnight. She knows there's no proof tomorrow will be fun, even if today is. I'm living life to the fullest.
Seemed like Rena perfectly understood all the anxiety I couldn't put into words. And on top of that, like a reliable teacher, she showed me what to do. Hey, Keiichi Maebara, there's no need to cry now. Last night, I feel like I had a dream about Satoko. I don't remember what kind of dream it was, but ever since this morning, I've felt anxious.
Because you thought seeing Satoko-chan's energetic face would cheer you up, right?
She was right on the money. If everyone had been here with smiles on their faces this morning, then the murk in my heart would have definitely been blown to smithereens.
Then, if Satoko-chan arrives, you'll have to be nice to her. Actually, it's totally fine if you play your usual pranks on each other.
I have a fucking Discord notification. Probably from Evan and Colby. Yep. Give me a sec. Recording is almost done. Alright. I think I read this whole line. Yeah, you're right. So that even if these fun days came to an end, I'd have no regrets. I couldn't tell if what Rena told me had been comforting or just made me more anxious. But it was enough to make me think that if I saw Satoko again, I'd be honest with her. This is a good enough gap. I was about to say, next gap I get, I'm going to end the episode. So, yeah, a little shorter than I intended to, with the well, no, actually, this is actually literally perfect, I think. Because I talked for about 12 minutes at the beginning of the episode, and then an hour of content. Perfect. Let's fucking go! This chapter, I'm kind of glad I remember so little from it, because it's fucking good, actually. Like, it's kind of weird playing through this and being like, I don't remember exactly what happens next. Like, I know the one twist, but I know it doesn't happen at the very end. It happens, like, around, like, the 2/3 mark, if I remember correctly. Of course, it could be different in the anime. But, yeah, I feel like in the anime it happened either, like, the end of the 3rd episode or sometime in the 4th episode. Because I think it was, like, a 5-episode arc. But that's besides the point. I'm enjoying this arc quite a bit so far. So, yeah. That's going to be it for this episode then, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!